Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
And this is Ito.
And we are
the Carbonation Conversation.
Reviewing HBO's The Last of Us, Episode 1.
When you're lost in the darkness.
Thank you for joining us for this very, very exciting and interesting review we got here. We got a few things we want to say, but before we get into that, if you like what you hear, if you like our reviews, our Happy New Beers, and our shout-outs, don't forget to hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, like and subscribe as we go into the new year. And we're upgrading a little bit, you know. We got some new mics. We got a soundboard right now, and this may be a little bit of like some work in progress. You know, we don't know how. I mean, I think we sound good, but you know, we don't know until we actually Mo edits it, sends it back to us. So
of course,
this may be actually a little bit rough, so we're just giving you a heads up as we, you know, figure out the kinks and stuff. You know, I may push a couple of buttons and things like that, but other than that, let's get to it. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, so before we even start talking about this show, I almost want to say I have a lot to say, but I'm pretty sure it's not a lot. We all know that this is based on a video game, one of the best-selling video games as far as the side of PlayStation is concerned.
I played the game.
Yes, I was just about to say you have played both, right?
No, only the first one.
Oh, only the first one? Okay, cool. So you played The Last of Us game. Obviously, you know, me and you talked about that game quite a bit. I've even seen you play it from time to time.
Right.
You loved it hands down. You thought it was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And when it comes to video game adaptations and movies and television, it usually ain't that.
It doesn't always work.
Yeah,
right.
It doesn't always translate well. It's, you know, I can't think of the word right now, but, you know, we wish it well. You know, it has good intentions is what I was trying to say, but they don't really work well. I can't, to be even honest, a video game movie. Well, I guess Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie, the first one is the only thing that comes to mind, really, when I think about, like, straight video game adaptations. I mean, obviously, we went to go see Uncharted. We did review that. I thought it was okay. But yeah.
Mortal Kombat?
Oh, you know what? As a kid, man, I fucking love the original Mortal Kombat. I'm not even going to lie to you. So, obviously now, you know, don't really stand the test of time.
I'm not even gonna say Street Fighter.
Oh man, I fucking love Street Fighter as a kid. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
It was horrible.
And then we also have zombies, or what? They're fucking zombies. That's what we have. Yeah, they're a version of zombies. So obviously, a lot of people were zombied out with The Walking Dead. I think, you know, they just finished their series, although they are starting multiple different worlds and things like that. And so I always heard one thing when it came to The Last of Us, and it's not about the zombies, it's about the story, which is almost the same fucking thing I heard with Walking Dead when it was like the first 4 seasons of it. So, you know, I'm coming into this not really knowing, but knowing some of the story, and so I'm really coming in this pretty much blind. I have my wife watching with me. She likes it so far. We saw the first 2 episodes, and it's, for all intents and purposes, it's very, very well done. But you got to do it right, and so that's what we're here to talk about. I feel like I've been rambling. So, anything else to say in regards to this before we get in the thick of it?
Well, we'll mention that it who stars in it. The main character, Joel Miller, is played by Pedro Pascal, who basically has already been like known as the Mandarin right now.
Yeah.
It's his big other thing going on, but he's been pretty steady flow recently with his acting. He was in what was it? Wonder Woman 2. Mm-hmm. You know, there was the other movie with Nick Cage. Right. 2. In the movie with Nick Cage. That was with Nick Cage, right?
What movie? With Nick Cage and him?
When he played like some terrorist or something?
don't remember that fucking movie. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to Google that a little later. But yeah, we do. But I always remember Pedro Pascal from the Snake from Game of Thrones. You know?
Of course. I was waiting for you to say it.
Yeah. We also have Bella Ramsey as Ellie.
Who's also from Game of Thrones.
She is the Lady Mormont. Badass, killed the giant and died in the giant's hands and shit. Sorry for spoiling Game of Thrones if you haven't seen it. I should have said spoiler alert. What is the girl who plays his daughter?
Nico Parker.
Yeah. I do want to talk about her for a quick second.
She was in the Dumbo movie. The live action Dumbo.
Oh wow, I didn't. Live action Dumbo.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't. No, I don't really. As much as obviously I have a 5-year-old, he doesn't really watch a lot of Disney stuff like that. Like I
can't really see the trailer or something.
Yeah, no fucking clue. Sorry. But what I will say about, you said Nico, that was her name?
Yeah, Nico Parker.
Now, what I will say about this is when you have characters like her in the beginning of shows where it's like, we have to care about you even though we're going to lose you very, very soon towards the end of this one episode to kick off this tragedy or whatever happens in the rest of the series. You really got to have the right person to do that, and she was so good for this episode. I was like, damn. I did really feel it, even though I knew it was coming.
It was crazy how, like, playing the game, I already knew, you know, and it seemed like it started off like she was like the main character, like heavily focused on her, like she was the main character of the show, not even the father yet, Joel. You know, they started off, I feel like I'm her.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was like how they did that.
Yeah, nice. So let's get into it. So the show opens up with two scientists talking. I think it's
1968.
Yeah, 1968. Let me actually open up my notes here. 1968, and basically the discussion is about what is the world, what can eliminate us, basically, what can cause pandemic, what can be the reason that humans don't survive. I forget what the first scientist mentioned, because we actually come in the middle when he is talking, he's talking about his specific thing. I believe he was talking about some sort of pandemic, just like what if, you know, we all got sick, kind of like COVID, pretty much, to be quite honest. And the other guy, John Hannah, playing Dr. Newton. I really like that touch. That's my guy. I really know he's in damn near everything. But
always remember him from The Mummy.
Yep, exactly. And he says, what I'm scared of is fungus. Not necessarily all fungus, but like fungus in general, a specific fungus called a cordyceps. And what a cordyceps can do is it can inhabit an insect, particularly ants and, you know, small ones like that, and basically it can take control of them.
It doesn't want to kill you, it wants to control you.
Yes. And basically, when it is time for you to die, what it usually has the ant does, it's funny because I quickly did like a 45-second YouTube video of how like the ants would go up like a super tall tree or a stem, and then the damn fungus would just kind of burst out, and you'd see like the fungus tentacle kind of reach all the way up, and it'll burst out all the spores to try to get into more fucking insects. And so that was pretty fucking cool. And I was looking at that shit on YouTube, and basically the scientist goes, hey, the world's getting hotter, man. You know, right now these things are only in the fucking jungle, so we cool right now.
The global warming can turn this fungi into a weapon that dominates human race.
Basically. And when the scientist asks, well, what happens? And even before he says what happens, this doctor just shuts the shit down automatically. He's
because the host is like laughing it off, and the audience is giggling, and then the more he gets into it, saying this shit, everybody gets quiet and serious, like.
And he's like, oh, by the way, there's no cures. There's no way we would be able to help ourselves and figure out some sort of cure for this, because it just is what it is. And that's when the guy's just looking at him like, so what would we do? And he's just like, well, shit, we're basically done here.
Right.
And then that is when it opens up with Sarah waking up.
Right.
And she's waking up.
She's making birthday breakfast for Daddy.
Mm-hmm. And Dad's name is Joel. Again, obviously played by Pedro Pascal. And Dad looks a little stressed, He looks like he's a hard worker. The character looks like, he's working so hard he forgets a lot of things.
Right.
Almost that typical, warehouse working dad in the 90s that's just like, I swear I'm going to bring the milk, baby, I swear.
Right. This is 2003 right now, by the way. Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. And basically she's, it's his birthday, and she wants to do something for him. So she's making him breakfast. We see that they have a really, really good relationship. And are we introduced to Tommy at this point? Does he actually...
Well, before that, you see her, she's basically grabs a broken watch of his and takes his money, steals his money basically to go get it fixed.
And it's so funny because at first I was like, damn, that's already dirty. Right,
like that.
Okay.
But it turns out later he gets it. I put the rest of the change back,
And I do. Here's my thing when it came to this episode. Although I thought it was a very good episode, I really feel like in 2003 you should notice signs and you should just be like, what the fuck is going on? Not like, okay. So and that's all I will say about Sarah, because as she is going throughout her day, like you see her in class, and then you see like one of the students, you see that it's starting to happen basically.
Right.
This is the dawn of the dead. This is the beginning of the Walking Dead. This shit is about to start happening. You see somebody just hand twitches while they're sitting on the desk. She's going to get the watch fixed. I don't want to skip. So am I on track here? Obviously I don't want to. But anyway, she's going to get the watch, and as they're fixing the watch, we're hearing on the radio that things are happening. We're seeing in the background the ambulance and police are flying in the background while she's waiting on this watch to get fixed. And we even see that the watch's wife, who we assume just is like, we need the clothes. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, you could say something to this girl. Like you couldn't be like, and she's just like, you should go home. Like, come on now. You should have been like, there's something happening. Go straight home. Like now. You know what I'm saying? She's just like, let's fend for ourselves. Fuck this little girl.
You think too much about it.
Like, man, I was just shocked. So she's just like, okay. Leaves this door that she's looking left to right and no one's outside. She's just like, okay. Gets on the bus.
This is basically when we're introduced to Tommy after that. Right? He's played by Gabriel, what's his name? Lunan? Something like that.
Let's see. I have. Yep, I believe that's it.
Gabriel Lunan. Yeah, he played Ghost Rider. And he also was in Last Terminator, one of the Terminator movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing him. Apparently he was in Mayor of Kingstown too. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, as Ghost Rider.
Oh, okay, as Ghost Rider. Okay, yeah, you're right. He was in Terminator Dark Fate. Didn't see it. So I don't know how that goes. And he's going to be in a TV show, or he was already, Love, Death, and Robots. Sounds cool.
So before, we actually get introduced to Tommy before she goes to get the watch fixed, but that's cool. He goes to the crib. Basically, he's talking about that a job, but it's going to take all day. But he was supposed to
she's like, you better bring that cake.
Exactly. Just don't forget the cake. You know what I mean? He's like, it's going to be a long day, but I'll be back. And she's like, just don't forget the cake.
Yes. So at this point, like, she's already heading home. from getting the watch fixed, and she decides to go see the neighbors because it is a very important thing.
And she's walking home, just helicopters flying by as well.
Yeah, and she goes to see the neighbors because they're like this nice little old couple that just wants to talk and just kind of hang out.
Exactly. Then they got their older person is like the grandmother there,
looking like
she's just there quiet.
Yeah, on her last. She looks like she's on her last.
Basically, like she goes there while this guy's at work.
Yeah, she looks scary just as a regular person. She was just like not, obviously, she almost looked damn near catatonic, just in the fucking wheelchair, just chilling. And as we see, I do really, really like the scene where we see Sarah flipping through some items I think they're books, if I'm not mistaken, and we see the fungus, the quadricep go into the old woman while she's in the background. And it's like they don't focus on it, so they kind of obscure it. They focus on her, but you see the later on.
Yes, I twitch and shit. Oh shit! I was like, oh damn!
And then the dog.
The dog, right? It's whining, right?
Something is off.
The dog won't stop whining at her.
See, that's why you should like dogs more. The only dogs that I know you like is from the old man and shit.
Damn right.
But yeah, so.
And from John Wayne.
Oh yeah, you did.
This girl's dog.
Let me take a Happy New Year here. Sorry.
Happy New Year. I'll do it with you.
And so. The dog seems like it wants to have nothing to do with her, and then for whatever reason, she's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna head home.
Exactly.
Go home, and I'm assuming, I would assume she's still hearing these things in the background, but obviously the dad, Joe, he comes back home. He forgets the cake.
Doesn't have the cake, of course.
But she does. It's just a really nice father and daughter moment. She hands him the gift. Apparently, I don't know where the watch is from. I don't know if it was given from his wife or something like that. And she was just like, you were never going to get it fixed, so I fixed it for you. They kind of joke a little bit.
Yeah, where'd you get the money? Yeah.
She's like, oh, I stole it, but at least I'm honesty. Like I said.
And I put the change back. Right.
And then they watch one of his favorite fake movies. I was really trying to look and see what the name, and I could have paused it and looked, but I didn't. I gave it 2 times, 2 rewinds, and I couldn't see it. So I was like, okay, so they're watching this movie. Apparently it's his favorite movie. And he gets a call from Tommy. Now, I want to ask you a question. Is Tommy his brother?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to establish.
Yeah.
Okay, I probably said it, but, we drink it. Just want to make sure. So gets a call from Tommy, and apparently Tommy has gotten into a bar fight. He just said the guy just came straight at him. He's like, I'm in jail. Something is happening here. You can tell by his voice. He's like, dude, something is not right. You gotta come pick me up right now. And Joel is just like, yo, bitch ass. He seems like Tommy this isn't the first time. Because he's just like, dude, come on, man. It's my birthday and I'm with my girl. Not my girl, but my daughter. So he goes out. And I think he puts Sarah in her bed before he leaves because she wakes up to a loud bang. And that's when shit just goes completely fucking haywire.
Basically, she wakes up to sound of sirens, helicopters, and screams.
Yes.
She looks outside and sees the dog. She tries to take the dog back into the neighbor's house.
Yes.
The dog's like, hell no, I ain't going in there.
What's so crazy is she turns on the fucking TV and the TV says, stay in the house.
Oh yeah, that too, right?
It literally says that. And what the fuck does she do? The neighbor's dog is outside. Oh my God, man.
That's why I don't like dogs.
That reminds me of.
That's why I don't like dogs.
It reminds me of Dawn of the Dead with the little dumbass girl, because the dog went in when they were trying to transfer the package to the guy at the other place. She's like, what about him? And she goes and runs over there to go and get him. I'm just like, come on. I love dogs, but come on now.
You would go out there. You would go out there. You would go out there. You would go out there.
Not Dawn of the Dead. Not those zombies. It's like Walking Dead zombies where they not really running, maybe, but Dawn of the Dead zombies? Nah, I'm cool. I'm like, teeny tiny, whatever the fuck that dog's name is done. There's no way in hell I'm going out there. But she goes out there. She takes the dog back to the neighbor's house, and what we see is
the dog don't go. He's like, hell no. The takes off. He's like, I ain't going in there.
And then
so of course she goes in there.
You get the dog barking and it goes. It's like, bam.
Something happened.
The dog didn't make that dog. And when she goes in the room, she's calling the names of her neighbors, which I do not know of. And as she goes in the kitchen, she sees the husband on his back, sitting up by the back door, and he's saying, help me, with a wound on his neck. And she slowly starts to approach him to see if she could help him. And then she sees the Nana on top of what I can only assume is the wife of the husband. And you see the actual cordyceps. Now, from what fans have been, I've been reading a little bit, it doesn't look like that in the game, I've heard.
Yeah.
And HBO said that they are not going to be doing the spores thing. They're just not going to do that. But this is how they're going to approach it. I was like, that is some scary shit. like the fungus just, oh my God, just coming out of the mouth. And then it comes to her, obviously. She runs out, and literally as soon as she gets outside, Joe and Tommy just get in the fucking car. He's like, we don't know what's happening. Something is happening. And I do like the movements of these things. I don't know what we call them, but clickers. Okay, so I like the movement of them. It does seem like once the fungus gets in, it's still trying to figure out shit. Kind of just like, I'm up. Yeah. I'm gonna get you. Boom, hits a wall. You know what I'm saying? And here's where we see Joel is just, he is ruthless at this point. He's telling, as soon as they get in the car, he's telling Tommy to run over the fucking neighbor.
Just go, right.
The other neighbor comes out of the house. He's like, get in the house, Becky. Her name wasn't Becky. I'm just gonna call her Becky. Get in the house, Becky. And once they hit the neighbors, Becky, of course, is like, I can't believe you hit Ted. It's not Ted, I know. She goes over there to check on Ted, and she gets eaten, all in the background as they're driving off, and you're just like, oh my fucking God. And they start to talk. What is this? What is going on? And they're just like, we don't fucking know.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here. And all of a sudden, all the roads are blocked and everything.
They drive past a house on fire, and I'm gonna use another name. That's Patrick's house. Hopefully he's not in it. The whole fucking house was engulfed.
Yeah.
And so they assume that they can go a specific way on the highway, but apparently everybody else had that same idea. And so what people are doing, because the highway is so congested, they're literally turning around. And so there's this one scene where they're approaching the cars that have decided to turn around. They're just like, whoa. Yeah. I thought that was pretty fucking crazy. Joel is just like, do something, Tommy, do something. And then he decides to drive.
Yeah, they go off-road,
And all the other cars is like, this dude went off-road. Let's go. Yeah, everybody.
But there's all it does is lead to fucking downtown. Where everything is really crazy.
Chaos is ensuing.
Crashes, fires, people running. Yeah. And you see a damn plane crash.
Now, here's the thing. Again, I really want to specifically say how ruthless Joe is at this point, because they did pass a family during this whole ordeal, and Tommy seemed like he was gonna stop and pick them up. He even said they had a kid, and he's just like, somebody will pick them up. We have a kid too. Let's fucking go. And I'm just like, whoa. And then when he's downtown, he's like, Tommy, move. And I'm like, Tommy, dude, do you see all these 40 people? You want me to run them over? I'm pretty sure Tommy would have asked that question. Joe would have been like, run these bitches over. So like you said, trying to get away, plane crashes, fucking flipped over. Sarah is, she's injured.
Yeah, they all kind of get, the plane crash knocks everybody down. Yeah. She hurts her ankle.
And the most video game shit happens ever. They get separated.
Yes.
That was like video game shit. Me and you've been playing Gears of War, and all of a sudden, that happens. and then you have to split up to do something. So the plan is to meet by the river, I believe. I believe that's the plan for him, Sarah, and Tommy to meet by the river. They're obviously if they're going through chaos, they get to near the river and they're approached by a soldier.
Before that though, when he picks her up, I mean, it's the whole the zombie chase part or whatever, the clicker chase.
Oh yeah, because
he's carrying her,
starting to get infected.
Yeah, he carried her. All of a sudden, it's like he's running away while carrying her from one of the clickers. Mm-hmm. That was a badass scene.
Yeah,
that run, that chase scene. That little chase scene was pretty badass.
And that's what I did like about this. A lot of things, like I said, I haven't seen played the game, but a lot of things in this first episode was very memorable. And it does tie back to just like the OG zombie type of shit. I saw a lot of shit that just made me like, okay, this is just good. Let's go. Yeah. And like I say, approached by a soldier.
Yeah, basically the soldiers saved them. Mm-hmm. They got to
Yes. Go ahead.
How can you forget that? Jesus.
I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm drinking. I'm excited.
Basically the soldier. After the chase scene, the soldier basically saves him by shooting this clicker, and then he basically gets on the radio, and he's told to kill Joel and the daughter.
Which was, at this point, I guess you could see how the military is at this point. They don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah. Somebody's really hurt. They don't know if it's a bite. The guy is saying it's her ankle. And he takes good 4 or 5 shots.
Yeah, struggle, like Joel pleads.
Yeah.
And then starts struggling with him, but he gets a few shots off, and unfortunately
he raises Joel.
Yeah. But then you find out Sarah.
Yes, because Tommy ends up saving them. Tommy ends up killing the soldier. And as soon as he kills the soldier and Joel looks at his side, because it's like, damn, I got hit, but it didn't seem that bad. Tommy goes, oh my God. And then you turn around and you see Sarah. Now, I have seen both videos. I have seen the video game, and I have seen this, and I gotta say, my God, they are so they did this shit perfect.
Oh yeah.
How did you feel when you actually playing the game and that happened? Was it just like, oh, this is a different game?
Yeah, it was unexpected. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was just curious. So obviously, this is 20 years later after this, pretty much, and we see.
First, my shout out. I'm already gonna take my shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Sarah.
And Nico, she was so good for like the 30 minutes. And actually, this fucking episode was like an hour and 20.
So it was the third one.
Oh wow! Okay, I haven't seen it.
I know, me neither. Actually, but
everybody has been talking about it, dude.
Yeah,
I can't even look on my feed without articles about how good this episode was. I'm like, damn, for real? I'm like, okay. I'm trying to see if me and Patty can watch it tonight, but she's like, no, Friday.
Yeah, I've been watching it with Rome.
Yeah, he said same thing, Friday. Yeah, so this is a question I want to ask you, because I know it's 20 years later at this point, but is this the point where we have the kid that's walking and collapses, or are Joe and Tess burning bodies at this point?
Oh, the burning bodies, from what I remember.
Okay, they're burning bodies, because I do remember, do you remember the scene with like the kid walking? I'm not going to lie, I thought that kid was Ellie. Originally, like the kid just like randomly walks and fucking collapses, and then they take her into this facility, and they basically see if she's infected, which it comes out to be true. And then the black lady, like, I don't know at this point what that red it means. So
that just means you're
I had no idea. But what she's telling the boy, girl, whatever the kid was, like, oh, everything's gonna be okay. You're safe now. You're gonna get something to eat. You're gonna get some toys. And it took me to episode 2 to realize, when I guess we're just gonna transition into this, Tess and Joe was burning bodies, the kid was in there. I didn't know they killed the kid. I was like, what the fuck? Because Tessa's I can't. She's just like, Joe, I can't take this at this point. And you see Joe like all numb. He just takes them, drops it. And I'm just like, This is not good. This world.
So we're in post-apocalyptic Boston, basically.
And what's going on?
The police force is called Fedra.
Okay.
But they're fucking violent, gun-toting warlords, basically.
Oh, okay.
Looking to basically stomp out this rebel group called Fireflies.
Okay, so that's where the Fireflies come in. Like, okay, wow, okay, yeah, because I remember seeing like people getting hanged for just like doing some, just like it seemed like basic shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So this doesn't seem fun at all.
So yeah, the survivors that are under this federal law, they're basically working by burning bodies, sweeping the streets, maintaining sewage for these ration cards.
Okay.
Basically, they don't comply, they're jailed or publicly hung.
Okay. Holy shit. All right. So cool. And sorry about that. Where are we going next?
Yeah, we get a little more information, I guess, about the fungus, the cordyceps. It says depending on where you're bitten, the effect can take 5 minutes up to 24 hours to take over.
I know. It said head, shoulder, 5 to 10 minutes. From shoulder to like waist, it could take a couple of hours, and then they said from waist down, it could take almost 2 days. And I was just like, I wouldn't even want to. Just kill me, bro. Just take me out.
Right. So then, like you said, we're introduced to Tess, character. She's played by Anna Turo, whatever it is. And that's my girl from Fringe.
Okay.
I used to watch the show Fringe. You remember that show?
Yes, I do.
That was my shit. And she was the main character in there. So I was like, oh shit, I know that. I was like, hell yeah.
You know, I really wanted my boy to blow up and become a really successful actor. I mean, he is a really successful actor, but the main character in Fringe.
Oh yeah.
Dude, this Mighty Ducks. I loved it.
Of course.
I always thought he was going to be like this big movie
He was also in Dawson's Creek. I didn't watch it, but I'm just
Is that the one that's like, for some reason, it's like, I never watched that episode, but it's like when you're turning, the intro comes on. It's like, oh, what the fuck is this? You see a creek and some guy named Dawson? What the fuck is this about? Anyways, but yeah, she was, Tess. Is this when she's just like, so what the fuck are we gonna do?
Well, first you see him selling pills to an officer for intel.
So we see that because it's funny because the officer also tells him, he's like, hey, do not go outside of the wall tonight. The Fireflies have been bombing a lot of fucking places and we are on edge and anybody can be confused with somebody in the dark.
Right.
So do not go out. So clearly at this point I'm like, okay, so Joe actually goes out even though we walk past a bunch of motherfuckers getting hanged for going out. But so, you know what I'm saying? Like, so okay, I'm getting this world established.
Right. But like, Joel really wants a car battery. Because you end up finding out Tommy's been missing for a while.
Exactly.
This is why he wants to get this. So Tess makes a side deal apparently with this guy Robert.
Yep. And the side deal goes bad because the scene is a weird opening scene because you're trying to figure out what the fuck happened.
And the guy Robert, I remember from Jason versus Freddy, I think. Me and Roby saw that. We're like, hey, Jason versus Freddy. Like,
I don't even know who died. How did he die? That's the fact. Was he the tree guy? Was he the guy who was in love with the girl who got stabbed and just died by the tree? Was he the pot smoker who Freddy killed?
Yeah, he was basically like somebody that was like in the crazy house with the dude.
I think I know. Okay, I know who you're talking about now. Okay, that reminds me a bit. I think I know.
It was the guy, the boyfriend, and then his boy.
Yeah.
So it was his boy.
Okay, cool. And basically,
funny how we know what we're saying. I'm not really saying shit, but you know.
Exactly. But yeah, so Tess, it closed up on her face. She seems like she's got her ass kicked, and she's just like, "What are we doing, Robert? Like, okay, you cheated me out of money. What are you gonna do?" I'm surprised she didn't say the phrase, "What, are you gonna kill me?"
Yeah.
But she didn't. But that's what she was implying. And Robert is just like, man, I want to let you go, but my boys roughed you up, and Joel.
Right.
They making this.
Right. They're like some ruthless ass motherfucker.
Like he was already an asshole. I mean, Jesus,
right.
And now he's just like
basically lost his heart.
Yeah, and he's just like, and Tess is just like, I got him, I can control him. Don't worry about it. You sold me. You sold somebody else the fucking battery. Basically, it's fine. Peace. I just want to drink until my face feels numb. And so, she's real, Tess. She's like real.
Yeah.
I didn't even know to an extent if they were lovers or more companions.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like they were like maybe together.
Yeah, because she did crawl up next to him in the bed when she got home. They went to sleep, woke up the next day.
She ends up telling the actual truth.
Yeah,
and like, let's go get that motherfucker.
Yeah, he is.
She's like, yeah, let's go get his ass.
And that's basically what they kind of conclude. They're like, okay, whoever Robert sold this to, we can follow Robert and his people, and hopefully the deal isn't done yet. Yeah. And once the deal gets done,
we can steal that shit back.
We can steal that shit. Now, there was one thing I did forget because of the Fireflies bombing shit. Didn't that area that Tess was talking to Robert in, didn't they get bombed? And then she
Yeah.
They got bombed, and it was just a random after they made the deal and she was about to leave, boom, they get bombed. And then she walks outside, and then you see a Firefly sniper or assault rifleman on a rooftop, and he's shooting at the Fedra people. And Tess is like, well, shit, I'm not gonna go over here. She tries to turn around, and you see more Fedra soldiers, and she raises her hand, and they beat the shit out of her. She's just like, I'm not a Firefly. And so that's when I'm like, okay, so this is like some real rebellious, serious shit.
And these Fedras are pieces of shit too.
So like we said, does it go to Marlene and Ellie at this point?
This is basically when you're introduced to Ellie.
Yes.
She's changed to a radiator. Mm-hmm. Basically, she was found bitten after escaping Fedra military school.
Yes. And basically, I am assuming they were just expecting her to die anyway, so they were just trying to give her maybe a peaceful death, and then they realized that she was not changing, I guess.
Right.
So they still took precautions. So at this point,
they're checking her every day, and she's been fine.
Telling her to count to 10. Do you remember these things?
Like you said, we're introduced to Marlene, who's basically like in charge of this chapter of the Fireflies, and Marlene is played by Merle Dandridge, who actually plays Marlene in the video game.
Okay.
And she actually plays in a lot of video games characters. Half-Life, Uncharted 4, Hitman 3.
Okay.
So she's basically pretty big in it.
Shit, man. I keep hearing that about it.
Apparently big with voices on video games.
Okay, so obviously she was the character in the video game that you played, that you got to know.
Yes.
You know her story.
Yes.
How do you like her acting ability?
She was great. I thought she was fantastic. It was just her acting like that in the game, so it was pretty cool.
Yes.
So Marlene wants to take Ellie West to study her for a cure. Since she's not turning, that'd be something special.
Yes.
Her,
And also we get to know a few details. Apparently Marlene knew Ellie's mom, and she put her in a Fedra academy because I am assuming Allie's mom was a part of the rebellion. So in order to protect the daughter, Marlene just decided to put her in a Fedra academy. I got that more from a reviewer I heard than that dialogue. Like when I watched it the second time and heard that dialogue, I was like, okay, that's some Game of Thrones type of dialogue where it's like, yes, 7 years ago. And you're just like, the fuck does that mean? And then you find out, you're just like, okay, that's why he said that. So, seems like everything's going fine on that side as far as Marlene's side. They're about to head, and they're just meeting someone to make a deal. Right. We don't know what that deal. Do we know what that deal is?
Not yet. We assume.
Yeah.
you could assume, but they don't tell you just yet. Basically, when Joel and Tess arrived to where, you know, they were going to follow Robert to, he gets there. They get there, and it's the same building where where Marlene and them are. So, but when they get there, Robert's is dead. Dead in front. So you find out that basically Robert was trying to sell a dead battery.
Saying the same fucking thing he was trying to do to Tess, he did again. She even said.
But that happened. Basically, you're right. Sorry. But he tried to sell basically Marlene. A fight ensued between him and Marlene and all that, and it alerted Fedra, who came and fucked shit up. So that's why he's dead, and then you see Marlene is injured. So
her
she
girl
can't
got a fucking missing ear and shit. I will say this, the only thing I want to mention before that happened was the fucking clicker on the wall when that scared the shit out of me. Dude, I thought that was gonna do something. I was like, and just the way it looked, because it's a fungus, like, you can say what you want about Walking Dead. Like, I remember the creators were saying, hey, as they get later in life, like, the zombies are going to be so, like, you can touch them, they're just going to melt because they've been alive, just zombies for so long. This shit, the mushrooms grown on top of the person on the wall, it's like a fucking fungus. And I was just like, wow, this shit looked fucking crazy. So that's the only thing I wanted to mention. We're introduced to, Joel is introduced to Ellie in the most gangster way possible. She tries to come at him with a knife, and he just throws her ass against the wall. It's like, little bitch, get the fuck out of here. And then he's like, Marlene, and she's like, Joel? And obviously, they make a deal. What we know is, one of the things I do want to mention is Joe was like, you already took my brother from me. So there is some
You find out, basically, Tommy's a Firefly. You know, like, he joined the rebels and shit.
And there's also one other thing I will say, because I don't know who the fuck this person is. Marlene did ask Ellie about somebody named Riley. I wrote that down. And she was just like, what happened to Riley? And then Ellie kind of made a face. You could tell that something happened. I don't know. I'm just going to throw that out there. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you know, you played the game, or if that's even a person from the game, but I was just like...
That's who I think it is.
I was like, who the fuck is... Okay, so maybe he died. I can only
Because I remember in the game, there was like a little prequel thing of her.
I think I saw you play that.
And it was like her and another person.
Yeah, I literally was here when you played that. So it could be that.
It might be that.
Okay, cool. So Marlene asked Joel to take Ellie to this West Site Point
in Massachusetts,
where there will be Fireflies there to protect her and take her, and not only that, give him an entire fucking car.
It'll give you guys the supplies you need.
Yes, and Joe and Tess decide to talk about it. I love the fucking response from Marlene. Why you motherfuckers talking? Fedra is on their way, and I'm bleeding. And then the other girl is like, I can do it. You're missing a fucking ear. Shut the fuck up. I love that shit from Marlene. And so, basically, we know they agree. And they're off on, I guess, an adventure. They sleep there for the night.
So they go back to the home, take Ellie and stuff. And basically, while they're there, Ellie
starts snooping,
and then finds out that the songs on the radio have meanings. Like the 60 means no luck finding supplies. The 70s means they did find supplies, but she wasn't sure about the 80s. Then she tricked Joel to find out what it meant. Basically, it means trouble.
Yes. And so they head out, you know, they're doing their thing. They go out at night, it's raining, and they get caught by the same officer who we sold the drugs from. So we think this is going to be a simple transaction. They're like, hey, and when he catches him, he's like, motherfucker, didn't I tell you to not do what I do. We was just here yesterday. I told your bitch ass not to be out here. And he's just like on your knees, and they're just like, they're trying to negotiate this. Come on, dude, we'll give you half of our run if you stop tripping.
Right.
He's like, half? I got you guys dead to fucking rights. Why would I want half? He's like, okay, we'll give you everything. And he's scanning them, and at this point, we know what this is. So Joe gets scanned, and Tess gets scanned. And as Ellie is getting scanned, because she already knows that she's gonna come off as infected, she just stabs.
She stabs his ass, right?
And he pulls up his assault rifle, and at this point, he tells the soldiers like, "Oh, you're infected." No, that's not how it happened.
No.
I'm sorry about that.
He pulls a rifle, but then Joel just snaps, has the flashback. She's a little girl, thinks of the daughter, and just basically
kills him. I think he kills him, right?
He punches the shit out of him. I don't know if they killed him, but it looked like it. He was going hard.
I mean, his fist don't look as small as mine, so I'm pretty sure he killed the man. And at this point,
Tess finds the thing and says that she's affected.
And
then Ellie's like, no, I'm immune.
Yeah. She's like, hey, this is 3 weeks ago. And she's just like, no, it takes 2 people. It takes 2 days to die.
Right.
You're lying. She's like, I swear, look, it's healed. Look. And obviously,
they start to hear, they start to hear officers coming. So like, we'll deal with her later.
Yes, let's fucking go. And they gave the most Walking Dead-ish shit I've ever seen, bro. I literally was like, that's the Walking Dead. Like, they're going into the, I guess, danger zone. I'm using like fucking division and shit.
Yeah, right.
And they back out and you see the city. Like, you see, which looks like they're heading downtown for all intents and purposes because so many fucking buildings. And it's just like when, I forget what season, maybe the end of season 2, when they were heading towards the prison, and it kind of and you were kind of like, what is that? And it's like, that's a fucking penitentiary they're headed towards, which was one of the best Walking Dead seasons, that prison one.
Yeah.
So I'm hyped. I'm looking forward to it. I love it because
it ended.
Go ahead.
Went back to the apartment.
Yeah, you're right.
And then the song came out in 1987's Depeche Mode's Never Let Me Down Again, which is an 80s song meaning trouble.
Now, I will say this. I am so happy that you wrote down that shit because I was just like, that's too complicated. Me and Patty at the end of it, what does it mean? I'm assuming danger? I wasn't going back to write that shit down.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that shit. But yeah, I'm in. I'm in. HBO, has a record of phenomenal shows that rarely get canceled, ever. Unfortunately, Westworld got canceled. Their shows rarely get canceled. They see them through. HBO is the premium of fucking television here, and I'm looking forward to this. I really am, especially because I don't know what's gonna happen. From what I've heard about the game, it's just so much betrayal and shit that happens that just shocks you. So I'm waiting for that. And yeah, we made it through with our new shit. So I think an applause is hopefully Mo doesn't have a hard time editing that. Right. But other than that, man, this was awesome. And hopefully this sounds good. We're going to see, obviously, at the end of the day. But other than that, this was some good shit. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Melvin Banks.
And this is Ito.
And we are The Carbonation Conversation, reviewing HBO's The Last of Us, Episode 1.
When you're lost in the darkness.
And as always, if you like the music in the background, audio editing, yada, 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 hit up mobeats89@gmail.com directly, or mobeats89 if you want to see his work on all platforms. Do not drink and drive.
Drink and vibe.
Peace.